per LaLiga, or Tech Radar, estimates, is giving us an estimate from the Liga that piracy has cost its clubs $800 million, or between $700 and $8 million annually. I wanted to say bullshit. I don't believe that at all, and I don't care about the report in Tech Radar Pro, and I want to justify my disbelief and skepticism towards those $700 numbers and everything. Now, for one thing, one of the problems that we have here is that there is no transparency about how they arrived at those estimates. We don't see how they arrived at them. We are not given, we're not given the things that they, and how they arrived at those figures and what assumptions that they happen to use to get there. But I do know one thing about this, which is just that when it comes to piracy, cost estimates, and how much damage has been done by it, it is fairly traditional that these companies do contain a starting assumption, which is just, one that basically says that every time somebody watches an illegal stream of this is a potential customer, and that illegal stream was a lost sale on our part and towards us. And this logic has held up in court, but the fact is the courts don't determine what actual truth is. All they can really determine is liability, and in reality, as it stands, the La Liga and its figures are likely bullshit, or likely completely false, because of the fact that there is this inbuilt assumption. Now, I don't know if when something is free. Wait a minute. Yes. So basically, when something is for free, the demand typically increases dramatically. It's a phenomenon known in economics as the zero price effect. So here you go. The inability to pass up something that costs nothing is fundamentally changes the equation and proves that right there, this economic principle proves that starting assumption cannot possibly be true. It is necessarily false because of the zero price effect. There's no way that it could possibly be true that every illegal stream is a lost sale because of the zero price effect. When something is free and it costs nothing, even if it's illegal, that will drive up demand for it far beyond what it would be if people had to pay for it. So these figures, 700 million, 800 million, they're complete bullshit. They more like I would pretty much bet actual money that these, if they were to become transparent about what assumptions that they use to get here, completely ignored the zero price effect, and everything in their assumptions, and they basically assumed that every illegal stream was a lost sale. And that's the only way that you can inflate those figures to that point. In reality, it probably didn't even cost them half that much. I think, these are fundamental economic principles and laws, and everything. It's what happens when demand increases dramatically when something is free. And so, there are plenty of people that if they had to pay for these things and were not able to pirate them, would not become customers. Period. They are not potential customers. They are just pirates. Period. And that is where so many of these figures arrive at an error. And this represents me. There are plenty of movies that I have pirated over the years that if I had had to pay for them, I never would have watched at all. So those figures are necessarily bullshit.